Well, folks, today's Sunday. It's a great Sunday. When I visited a different church today, my wife is friends with the pastor there, and so we went and checked out his church. They had a good message, and they had some good food after. Um, the weather's great outside. My wife and I sat outside on a picnic table and just talked for a while and so forth. Um, Last night I started a little sermon or a message, just writing it for fun. Um, it was on based off of something that I was studying the other day, um, where I wrote as one of my answers, Jesus is Lord, and more about the unclean spirits on how he sometimes took a little mercy on them when he was pulling them out of people or having them come out of people. I remember one of them asked to go into some pigs, and Jesus granted it, and um, I wrote Jesus. Jesus shows compassion, but Jesus is Lord. And how often does He show compassion with us or give us mercy? Um, you know, but just because He's showing us mercy doesn't mean He's not Lord. And what does it really mean? Um, the word Lord. If you think about it on so many different levels, you can come up with so many different answers. If Jesus being Lord, is Jesus your Lord? And what does that mean to you? Um, to me, it means submitting my ways to Him. I realize I haven't always submitted all my ways to Him, but um, knowing that He knows best and that He created everything. And so, even if you think you have a good way of going about things, if it doesn't line up with what you've read or what you know to be true about Jesus, then it's probably something you're going to have to say no to. A good way of knowing whether you've submitted to God is how many things have you had to say no to yourself um, because you submitted. If you haven't said no to yourself at all, then more likely than not, you haven't submitted. Um, Submitting to the Lord is very tough. It's something that takes lots of practice and a lot of faith. And usually you have to be at the end of your rope to really submit. I encourage you today to really think about whether Jesus is your Lord or not. And really think about submitting to Him. Because, you know, if you love Jesus, you'll follow his ways. If you don't, you won't. And not that God won't be good to you, even if you don't follow his ways, because he still loves you. But you know, you might have to learn a few lessons along the way. Out of love from him, to hopefully get you to a point where you might want to submit. He doesn't force anything on you, but there are some lessons out there I don't want to have to face. And so I think I'm going to do some submitting. And you have to submit your whole life over to him. All the parts, not just some of it. It's not just being obedient and going to church on Sunday morning. It's everything. It's, all the things you do after church. Does it line up with what God is teaching, or does it line up with what he does? Does your life resemble what Jesus was about? All your parts. If it doesn't, then there's still parts that you need to submit. And I'm just as guilty as anybody. Well, folks, I wish you a blessed Sunday. I pray that you're able to come to a point where you're ready to submit to God if you haven't already. I pray many blessings due to your obedience. May God be good to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Remember, who loves you? I love you. Have a good one. Bye.